Check it out, we're about to add wireless and wired CarPlay and Android Auto to this original 2016 to 19 Lexus RX screen. This is the Hamilton upgrade kit. It's a module and we're going to install it today behind the factory radio. It's going to work with your original mouse and put CarPlay and Android Auto on that factory screen while preserving the option to long hold the menu button for 3 seconds at any time to switch back to the factory screen. We're going to completely walk you through how to put it in the car today. The upgrade kit here is going to give you just CarPlay and Android Auto on that original screen. It's not going to make it a touch screen. If you're looking for a touch screen that also has apps outside of CarPlay and Android Auto for things that are not available in CarPlay or Android Auto, you're going to want to check out the Hamilton conversion kit. That's a complete replacement touchscreen that'll entirely replace your factory screen with a brand new screen that has software also from Hamilton Motor Company to allow external apps. But today, we're going to be putting in this upgrade kit that's going to give you just CarPlay and Android Auto on the factory screen. It's a straightforward and simple option. You can see how it preserves your original backup camera. It's going to use factory Bluetooth for audio. As well, it's going to also preserve your steering wheel controls. I can turn the volume up and down using the steering wheel controls as well as skip songs. Alrighty, we'll dive in today and show you how to put it in the car. Watch till the end of the video where we'll show you how to pair and set it up. Alright, so we're going to be installing the upgrade kit here. This is our entry model. It's the box that goes behind the factory radio and puts CarPlay and Android Auto on your original screen. If you need that full replacement screen, that's our conversion kit. Check out that video separately. We're going to begin the installation process. I always advise folks to make sure that your car is parked on a flat and level surface. It's in park. The wheels are chalked so it can't roll away. The parking brake is applied. And then also to disconnect the negative cable from the battery. You can open up the hood, use a 10mm socket, and disconnect that negative battery cable. We show that in many of our other videos, including the conversion kit video. Alrighty, now let's dive in and we'll get started here. I'm going to begin here by opening up the center console cover, and I'm going to remove these 2 leather-covered trim panels. Reach in with your hand here, and we'll just get under this trim just like this. We'll go out, take it off just like that. We'll set it in a safe place in just a moment. Now I'm going to take my hands and my fingers here. I'm just going to get on the edge in the back corner of this other trim panel here on the other side. Use my fingers, pull out. You don't need any pry tools for this. We'll pull off both these panels and set them in a safe place. And now we can go ahead and remove the gear shift knob here. Take your hands, we'll position it on this leather shift boot around the seam, push straight down, and then this is like a knob. We'll just shift it off like this. We'll go around and around, just like a nut. Boom, take it off. We'll set it in a safe place. From there, we're going to go ahead and grab this trim panel here. It's a metal look-alike trim, as I call it. Now, if you haven't ever taken your car apart before, most folks haven't, it could be a little bit tight. So you might need to use a trim pry tool to get under the edge of it here. What we're going to do now, I can use my hands. Once again, you could get under it here with a trim pry tool or a credit card. We're just going to start kind of pulling it up. Now, you don't want to grab here and yank. You want to support it. And the reason is you don't want to crease it. So it's a piece of plastic and we just took it out like that. It is quite strong. We'll set it now in a safe place. All right, this is the mouse car. And for the mouse car, we're going to have a connection at the end that's going to have to be made specifically under the mouse here. Okay, we have a separate video that shows you how to take apart the knob car for the conversion kit. But this is the mouse car. They're almost identical. I'm going to reach under this mouse assembly here and just rock to the side. And then it'll come out like a shoehorn, just like that. We'll disconnect the harness. You can set the whole mouse assembly in a safe place. We're going to now use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove 2 screws under that mouse. These screws are very prominent once we remove that mouse. We'll go ahead now, use that Phillips head screwdriver. They're both black Phillips head screws, just like that. We'll take them out. And we'll set them in a safe place. It's now time to remove the center console cover here. And the center console cover is going to be super tight. So either use your hands wearing gloves, or you can also use some towels to protect your hands. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of get under it here. And we're going to pull back and lift up while we pull back. So some of these clips, you can see here how they're like hooks forward. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little back and up motion. And then what you need to do is you need to put the car into neutral now. So this is why it's so important to make sure you're on a flat surface. Underneath this little tab here is a button. I'm reaching in with my finger. It's just a white button, and we'll show it to you in just a moment once the center console is out. That's going to let us shift the car into neutral, and then we can take this center console cover up and out. Once again, this is why you need to make sure your parking brake is parked and the wheels are chalked. And then what we can do here, we'll just go ahead and disconnect these connectors. We have 3 up at the front here, and then there's this little tab on the back. You can pop this tab out if you want, or you can then at this point just take the center console, we'll rock it out of the way. And this was that button that we pushed right here, and that allows us to manipulate the car into any gear without turning it on. Alrighty, we're gonna now take out this lower black trim box that's got the cigarette lighter in it. So you can just reach in with your fingers here on either side. We'll pop it out and it'll start to pull out this trim as well. That has the start stop button. We can rock this down. We'll press on this tab. And this one can be a bit tight. There's a small tab right here. We just pressed on the tab and we disconnected that start stop button. We'll set it in a safe place. We'll come under here next and we'll grab this little trim. There's a little light at the top, and there's also a harness here on your cigarette lighter. Always make sure that you're pulling on the actual connector and not the wires. So just press down on the tab, we'll pull the wire out. Up here as well, we're gonna press down on the tab, pull it out. And then that will allow us to begin removing this little box. There's a clip on the bottom holding some wires in place. And this clip's not super important, but you just kind of lift it off the metal. We'll take this trim box, set it in a safe place. We're going to now remove 2 bolts on either side of the original head unit here. It's going to be up and at an angle like this. We're going to show you up close now, but you'll go through this viewing window. That's the angle you're going to be looking for with your ratchet. See that angle there? And we'll show you that bolt up close. It's the only one in here. You won't be able to miss it. And then we'll just go ahead and use a ratchet here and we'll loosen this bolt. Once again, a standard 10mm socket with a 6-inch extension, and then we'll just loosen it. There's a little bit of a viewing window here where you can see it. And we're going to do this on either side. These bolts are holding in the factory radio. And then I'm just going to loosen them up. And once I feel it kind of start to get loose, on the driver's side here, we're going to come through this lower window right here, and the bolt will be right at an angle just like this. We'll show it to you up close. This one's a little bit easier than the passenger side. So we'll come in once again with that extension, jump onto that 10mm bolt. We'll go ahead and loosen it up. And this one, you're going to have enough clearance here that as it gets loose, you'll be able to put your fingers on it. Now, if you drop either bolt, I'll show you in just a second an easy way to recover the bolt. So don't stress at all. And we'll just go ahead and make sure we get it extra loose. And then on this side, it's so easy to see you getting it loose that you can just kind of start to support it. And we'll drop it down straight like this and set this bolt in a safe place. We're now going to remove the radio with those 2 bolts removed. What I'm going to do, I've got a towel here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it covering the gear shaft. And the reason for that, we just want to make sure we don't scratch this nice radio. So we've got those 2 bolts out. Gonna take your hands now and just this little flange right here, and we'll jump under this little flange here on the other side. We'll go side to side and the radio will pop right out. Just make sure you disconnect this clock here at the top, and this is an easy one to re-forget on the way back in. So we'll disconnect the clock here, pop this radio out, and let's go ahead now and we'll begin wiring up the Hamilton upgrade kit. I'm now going to give you an overview of the wiring before we put it in the car. This is what we call the Hamilton main harness, and you'll identify it here by this label, Hamilton Power. This is going to plug into the Hamilton upgrade kit, into the socket labeled main power. Now we've got a couple pigtails, 2 coming off of this Hamilton main harness. One is labeled original power and one is labeled original audio. The Hamilton white portion will go into the back of the factory radio, and the original wires will go into the Hamilton sockets. We've got these other 2 small ones here. This one is not going to be used. We will only be using the socket here. For this, it'll be the mouse extension wire. This is the mouse extension wire, and we will plug it into the Hamilton socket on the main Hamilton harness. And this extension is going to run down to that mouse we removed. The Hamilton will plug directly into the mouse, and the factory wire will go into the Hamilton socket. That's it for the main wiring. Now I'll show you the LVDS wiring. This green plug with a blue and black coming off of it is what we call the LVDS wiring. There's color-coded plugs on the Hamilton upgrade kit here, blue to blue, black to black. Behind the factory radio, there will be a green male plug. We're going to plug it into the Hamilton socket here, and the Hamilton will go in its place. Now, this is for the car that had that factory mouse joystick. If your car had a factory knob instead of the mouse joystick, nearly everything is the same, except the connectors are going to be a little bit smaller, and you don't need to plug anything under your knob. And of course, you'll get a wiring diagram that shows that, and you can also watch our original video on the knob car for the Hamilton conversion kit. This is the Hamilton accessory harness here. Now, this system is going to use your factory microphone and reverse camera by default. There's nothing that you need to use on this harness other than this USB. So this harness will plug into the Hamilton upgrade kit, and then this USB will become a wired USB. We're going to run it between the passenger seat. It'll be for wired CarPlay in Android Auto. This device is going to have both wireless and wired CarPlay in Android Auto. It'll also be for updating the device. And then this is a super important thing here, this antenna. It's going to connect into the socket labeled antenna, and this is your antenna for wireless CarPlay in Android Auto. All right, we'll go ahead now and we'll set up the wiring. I've laid down this towel here to protect the radio. And I'm going to go ahead and jump under this flange with my hand and this flange, and we'll just do a little bit of pressure. The radio will come out. We'll pop it down. We'll disconnect this wire from the clock, and that's easy to forget on the way back in. With the radio laid down flat here, we can know this car has the mouse joystick also because it has this large connector. The knob car would have different connectors back here without this large connector. On the knob vehicle, all connections will be made behind the factory radio, so it's just slightly easier than this mouse car. Let's begin by pressing down on this tab and lifting up on this gray bar. And then this one right here, so we go from that main power, skip one. This one right here is what we call the audio harness. Let's go ahead and press down on the tab, and we'll slide this one out as well. Now let's grab the Hamilton main wiring harness. We'll plug in this main power into the Hamilton socket, snap down the gray bar, and then we'll go ahead and put the Hamilton main power into the back of the factory radio. Next, we'll grab this Hamilton one labeled audio. Let's grab this one labeled audio, and we'll go ahead and connect it into the Hamilton female socket. Put the Hamilton male in its place. So you can see what we did with those two pigtails. We just grabbed in place of both of these. And that audio one, we just push it down until you feel a little click there. Now, I've never seen a car that has anything plugged into this brown socket here. So you're going to most likely have nothing in that brown socket. So don't freak out if you feel like, hey, did I have something back there? But let's go ahead and we'll do that LVDS harness now. So this is going to be the green one here. We'll go ahead and remove the safety wire. Now on the bottom of this radio here, that's the green wire. Press down on the tab, we'll wiggle it out. We'll have both of these prongs here. We'll go into place. And then let's just put the Hamilton right in its place. All right, we've got the Hamilton main harness connected as well as the LVDS harness. We're going to go ahead and put everything together now. We're not going to be using this port labeled optional touch. The dip switches will come preset from Hamilton Motor Company. If you want to confirm your dip switch settings, they're available help.hamiltonmotorcompany.com. We're now going to go ahead and plug in the LVDS harnesses, as well as the Hamilton main harness. Now this Hamilton accessory harness, we're only going to need it for the USB port. We're going to follow the same path that we did for that mouse accessory harness, where we go behind these plastic cross members. And that's going to be so we don't have any issues reinstalling the radio. Now we have this mouse accessory harness labeled connect to original mouse. Let's go ahead and take the Hamilton wire and we'll plug it into this socket here. This one will not be used. This white wire will not be used. So let's now run this to where the mouse is. What we'll do, we'll lift the radio out of the way. And this mouse wire, it just needs to go all the way around the plastic cross members. So we cannot have this wire running over any of these plastic pieces. And the reason for that is it'll get in the way of reinstalling the radio. So I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to go through the bottom one here and pull it through as well. So you can see how I've routed this wire behind this plastic cross member. Now I can just simply locate it in the back here, and I will set it in place and go ahead and connect the factory mouse harness into the Hamilton socket. When we reinstall at the end, we'll plug this into the mouse. And we're going to take this USB and we're just going to drop it through this plastic right here. And that way there, it'll be discreetly by the passenger seat, and you can use that to charge your phone or to update the device or to do wired CarPlay. We're going to now connect the accessory harness into the Hamilton upgrade kit, and then we're going to grab the antenna. This antenna is one of the most important things not to forget. We'll connect it as well. And then we'll just move this radio out of the place. And what we're going to do back here, we'll begin neatly tucking and organizing all the wiring. I'll show you the Hamilton upgrade kit is going to sit nicely back behind this plastic shelf. And then we're going to just take this antenna here and we're going to just kind of stick it down and off to the side. And the reason we're doing that, we want to get it away from the metal of the radio. I'm not going to stick the antenna to anything. It won't rattle or vibrate. It's just going to be hanging out in there. But the key is that you just don't want it stuck to the Hamilton upgrade kit or to any metal surface, because being immediately next to metal can interfere with it. All right, now we're going to go ahead and reconnect the clock. We'll take the radio, we'll line it back up into its socket here and snap it into place. This is a great time to go ahead and reconnect all of our connections, and we can just power on the car to test everything. If when you power it on, the screen doesn't look like it fits the frame properly, the unit is calibrating and it'll take about a minute to two. Don't make any changes and the screen will calibrate fully. If the screen doesn't calibrate correctly and it doesn't fit your screen, check those dip switches. If you accidentally knocked them or changed them, then your screen may not calibrate to the correct size. You'll go to hamiltonmotorcompany.com, the help center, and you can just verify that you have the correct dip switches. Power the unit back on after disconnecting and reconnecting that main Hamilton harness, and it'll calibrate within about a minute. All right, we've got the Hamilton upgrade kit installed. For the big screen car, it's going to be by default all dip switches off. The smaller screen car would be one on. Now this can change from time to time. It'll come preset for you based on what you order. If you have any questions about dip switches, check it out, help.hamiltonmotorcompany.com. They're listed on that help center. All right, with the radio popped in, we're going to go ahead now and we'll put the bolts back in from either side. If you just want to make sure that your radio stays clipped in while you're putting in the bolts, that'll make it as easy as possible. These bolts are going to go back in the same way that they came out, and you want to make sure that you torque these guys down. We'll put that bolt back in on the driver's side as well. Just make sure that all your wires are nicely tucked back in. And you may need somebody to help you. Just make sure that radio is fully seated while you're putting this bolt back in. Otherwise, the holes will not quite line up. So we've got that radio in. Had a little pressure on the front, not on any of the buttons, just a little bit of pressure right here on the plastic. Made sure it's fully in, and now we're going to go ahead and tighten this bolt down. We'll go a little extra eighth of a turn. Drop out the socket. All right, we'll go ahead now and we will reconnect the cigar lighter as well as the small light here. And we'll line this guy up and clip that little wire back into place. We'll just take this panel and snap it in. Now, this trim tab here in box just always requires a little bit of manipulation. You can see we manipulated it and now it's snapped in. And then we will go ahead and reinstall the center console cover here. We'll reconnect those harnesses that we had disconnected up front. White to this white here. You won't be able to mix these up. And then just black to black. And this white to white here. Now we'll go ahead and make sure that we've got this one in place here for the mouse. And then if you disconnected this black one in the back, we'll just go ahead and reconnect it. Open up the center console. And before we snap it down, let's go ahead and reconnect the start-stop button. Just grab that start-stop wire here. You can easily plug it back into place. We'll just line this one up here. And then we can go ahead and take the center console cover here. We will line it up also. Make sure that mouse is in place here. And just do a little bit of gentle wiggling. It's always helpful to do a little wiggling while you're trying to get all these pieces back in line. Snap it in up front. Boom, just like that. We've got the mouse wire hanging out here. Let's put those 2 screws back in that we took out. And then we will snap the mouse back down and we'll finish up our trim. We're going to now go ahead and reinstall these Phillips head screws, holding the center console cover into place. Make sure that you're holding onto these screws tightly. You certainly don't want to drop one here at the very end. And then for the mouse harness, it needs to be coming through this small socket here. We'll take the mouse and we'll reconnect the harness, making sure it's coming through the smaller hole here. And then we'll just shoehorn it in. We go back to front, just like that. It'll snap back in easily. Now let's put these other trim panels back on. We'll come in with this side trim panel here, going front to back. Just making sure that everything lines up as we snap it all into place. We'll come in with the driver's side now, once again, going front to back. Just making sure your clips are lining up nicely. Finally, we'll take the gear shift knob and screw it back into place. We'll line it up straight and press the shift boot back on. So for the Hamilton upgrade kit, we've just installed it. You can see it's working with the mouse. Long holding the menu button in front of the mouse for 3 seconds is how we switch between the factory system and the Hamilton system. And that would be the same even if you had the knob. Let's go ahead and we'll come here to Settings, System, and turn on this setting, Use Car's Bluetooth channel. The device will then reboot. That's telling the Hamilton upgrade kit that we're going to be using factory Bluetooth. We'll go ahead and open up CP Link. Go ahead and open up Settings and then Bluetooth on your iPhone. You'll locate a new device starting with Hamilton. Touch it. When the pairing code pops up, touch Pair. Touch Allow to Contacts and Favorites. And then when you get that Connect to CarPlay button, go ahead and click Connect. If you run into any issues with your phone not allowing you to connect to CarPlay, you might have a VPN on or a privacy setting where CarPlay is disabled. You can check out help.hamiltonmotorcompany.com for more information. And here it is, wireless CarPlay on the screen. Now let's set up the audio. Long hold your menu button for 3 seconds. We'll come back to the factory system. We'll go to Setup, Bluetooth, and then we're going to add your phone to the factory Bluetooth. We'll touch Add. Now open up your phone once again. We'll go Settings, Bluetooth. We'll turn Bluetooth off and on. Scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to look for a new device called Hands-Free Lexus RX or Car Multimedia. Touch Allow to Contacts and Favorites. Give it about 15 seconds once Bluetooth opens, and then we can come on screen here, and we'll set the source to Bluetooth audio. Your phone is using the car's factory Bluetooth for audio, and it's using the Hamilton upgrade kit for CarPlay. Well, check it out. Here it is. Beautiful wireless CarPlay. We're using that factory Bluetooth. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to check us out, help.hamiltonmotorcompany.com, or give us a call at 919-858-2890. I'm Dave from Hamilton Motor Company, and I'll see you in the next video.